What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with TBU Week 5. We are 2-2, and the game has not been very kind to us the last couple of weeks. Now, 2 weeks ago, the last time I uploaded was Week 3 against Ethan. We missed an Ice Fang, lost us the game, we would have won 4-0. Gotta move on. Week after that, I was in Arizona. I had to have Merc play for me. He goes up against L5. He gets haxed out against the Mega Sharpedo, of all things. Gets flinched turn 1. Gets crit by Aquajet on the Mega Arrow. So now I'm sitting here at 2-2. He had no chance to win that game after that, which was kind of booty. But you know what? We are not where we should be in the standings. And the only thing I can do in order to make it better is just keep winning. So that's exactly what I'm here to do. Now, let's go ahead and go over what I have on my team. Of course, if you guys want to know exactly what I bring, there is no team builder. However, there will be a paste bin down below, a Poke Paste, as I like to use. That is the website that is good for it, and yeah. So go ahead and look that over. That is the team that I am bringing, but I will go over it pretty briefly, a little bit more in depth though, because there is a Ditto there, and I want to go over my prep for that. So, first off, in order, we'll go from right to left, I guess, whatever. So Shuckle here, of course, if you guys did not see the TBU transactions video on the channel, make sure to check out the TBU channel to keep up with all of your news and shit. But I did drop Raichu during the free agency period between weeks 4 and 5. So what happens is we're allowed to make 2 transactions. The first one I made was moving my Z Crystal off of Raichu and onto Slowking. And I did that because, of course, I was planning on dropping Raichu, and also, Raichu probably wasn't going to come off of my bench at all, and I'd rather have that on Slowking. So, I dropped Raichu after that for Shuckle, and I did that because my team really appreciates webs. And webs, I just really like Shuckle for webs. That's all I can really say. So that's exactly what I'm bringing on Shuckle this week, is webs, rocks, Encore, and Toxic, with a Mental Herb. Pretty much just death fodder as soon as I get up all my my hazards. So that's going to be that. Next up, I have a Heatran there. That's going to be Torment Tran. If you guys don't know what Torment Tran is, it is a Toxic, Protect, Torment, and Fire Stab set in order to beat things that normally are choiced into moves, namingly, I guess is the word that I'm trying to use here. The Hydreigon, which could potentially be Scarfed, and I am very, very heavily expecting it to be Scarfed. And of course, Ditto, you bring that Scarfed, or else you're risking a Speed Tie-On every single time you bring it in. So, I'm expecting a couple of Scarfers on his team, to say the very least. Heatran can beat both of those if I get off a Torment, because I have Protect. I can Protect every other turn, take no damage. Take Struggle, they do more damage to themselves than they do to me. Of course, this Heatran does not touch itself, which is very nice when it comes to Ditto as well. If I had Earth Power, then it would be a problem. However, Heatran with Torment can beat the Ditto. He doesn't have a really good switch into Flamethrower besides Hydreigon, but also if that happens to be Scarfed, then I can beat that as well. So he doesn't have very good switch-ins to Flamethrower, I felt like. So this is going to be the Heatran. Next up, I decided to bring a Lucario, and this Lucario is pretty special. It is a Silk Scarf with Sub SD. Now, I don't normally see people running Sub SD, and I felt like this would be a very nice matchup to actually do that. Main reason why is because I only wanted Drain Punch and Extreme Speed. I hit everything on his team with the 2 of those fairly hard, and with SD very hard, so that's pretty useful. Of course, with the Ditto there, I wanted to make sure I couldn't get counter-swept by my own Lucario, so I made sure that I brought a Lucario that couldn't touch my Decidueye. That way, anytime he brings in Ditto to copy my Lucario, I have a free switch into my Decidueye every time. So that's going to be that. Next up, yeah, the speed on it. That's what I wanted to talk about. Yes, the speed on this Lucario. Speed on this Lucario is to outspeed a Choice Scarf Diggersby under webs, so then it would just be a max speed Jolly Diggersby. No Scarf, like, because that cancels out with the -1 speed. I outspeed a Diggersby and I can kill it with Drain Punch, which is very nice. Something else which is nice is I can set up on Fortress that doesn't have EQ. He didn't bring Fortress, not that big of a deal. I can't really set up unless I'm predicting him to switch out. Don't really need to switch out, to set up in order to do a lot of damage to his team. I have enough bulk to where I can live Earth Power or Flamethrower, whatever he has on his Hydreigon. I can live with whatever one of those he goes for, get off a Drain Punch, be fairly healthy again. He would kill me if he had Fire Blast, but I don't see him bringing Fire Blast against me. That would be potentially dangerous for him. So that's going to be Lucario. Not really much else to say about that. Next up, I have Decidueye. Decidueye here is it's a Culver Berry set. It's SD Roost with the Shadow move, Spirit Shackle, that's what it's called, and Low Sweep as my final move. Now, I decided to run Low Sweep. I originally had U-Turn on here, but I decided, hey, I can kill a Diggersby at +2 with Low Sweep, so let's do that. I'll hit that and the Hydreigon, which is why I had U-Turn in the first place. So at +2, I kill Hydreigon, that's not bulky, and with my Culver Berry, I survive a Dark Pulse, which is very nice. So I can get rid of the only switch-in that he has on his roster to Decidueye. Also, on top of that, I am outspeeding this Decidueye with my Heatran by 1 point in case he wants to come in with his Ditto to get up the or get whatever boosts I had with Decidueye. I come in with Heatran. If he goes for Spirit Shackle, I live. I kill with Flamethrower. That's all I really wanted in order to, or with dealing with Heatran. So that's going to be it for the Decidueye. Next up we have a Mega Aerodactyl, and this is a Fire Blast Mega Aerodactyl, and because he does have two pretty good switch-ins to it, Fortress and Steelix. Otherwise, everything gets pretty much bopped. Hydreigon, of course, I do need a lot of chip damage on that. I outspeed Mega Beedrill. I outspeed a Diggersby at +1 speed. That would be after webs and an agility, so it would be at +1. He didn't bring Diggersby, not a big deal, so I don't have to worry about it. So that's Mega Arrow. It has Roost, Rock Slide, and Earthquake, along with the Fire Blast. Fire Blast is a potential to a KO against a max HP physically defensive Steelix. If he's specially defensive, I will have some trouble breaking it with this arrow. But that's going to be it. It like runs through his team completely. And because my team was feeling pretty weak to Scarf Hydreigon, I decided let's put a Scarf on the Landorus, and that will be a Superpower set to make sure that I kill the Hydreigon. I also have U-Turn, Rock Slide, and Earth Power. Earth Power, my strongest move to hit Steelix and Fortress. Everything else I just want to hit, and Tapu Koko as well. Everything else I'd probably just want to hit with Rock Slide, or just U-Turn out because it forces a lot of switches because it is a Landorus Incarnate after all. So that's gonna be everything about the team here. Now, final thing, make sure to check out the description, of course, for the Pokepace. Final thing I wanted to go over was lead matchup. Before we get into this game, I was heavily considering leading off with Shuckle in order to get up my webs right away. However, looking at the lead matchup, I deferred from that original game plan and went straight up with Landorus, because as soon as I saw Ditto, I thought, you know what? He could counter Sticky Web me, and that could be less than ideal. So let's not do that, and instead let's lead off with Landorus, because I feel like my Landorus against itself can't really kill itself. and I can get off a U-turn, get into whatever I want. So that'll be that. That's why I didn't decide to lead off with the Shuckle right away. So let's go ahead and get rid of those arrows on the side of the screen, because that always is like the bane of my existence. So we are going up against Alex, of course, against the Birmingham Spritzee, onesie Banette, person we've battled before in PPL. And this is going to be the lead matchup. I lead off with Landorus, he leads off with Sigilith, and I decided, you know what, right off the bat, let's just go for the kill with Rock Slide. It is a roll, more in his favor in order to live, but I am completely fine with getting off a bunch of damage on this. Can't flinch because I am Sheer Force, completely fine. We lose Landorus turn 1, we lose our best check to a Scarf Hydreigon, but I still do have a bunch of options on my team in order to deal with that. So right here I'm going to come in with my Lucario, and I'm just going to go for the E-Speed. I felt like there was no reason for me not to go for E-Speed right here. He does have this this Tapu Koko right here, which can come in. He does bring this in order to take the E-Speed. Good thing about this is that he can't come in a lot more. Actually, he can't come in ever again on this Lucario if he wants to survive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my specially defensive Shuckle in order to get up my webs and my rocks and like not really take anything. So he's going to go for the Thunderbolt. It does about a third, more than a third, about 40%, and he's going to U-turn out. And good thing here is I am going to be able to get up both my webs, no, I'm going to be able to get up at least my webs. If he stayed in and T-bolted, I would only be able to get up webs, but he does decide to U-turn out, which is very nice, and he's actually going to Mega Evolve here with his Beedrill. I found this to be quite surprising that they sent in Beedrill right away, but I knew exactly why he did it, and that's because I knew he had Defog on this as soon as he brought it in. So, good thing is, Shuckle has more PP between Sticky Web, and actually just Sticky Web has more PP than Defog, which is very nice, so I'm going to be able to spam Sticky Web here if he does want to try and end up killing the Shuckle. And he's actually going to U-turn out, which is pretty nice. So we're going to be able to get up our webs once again, and he's going to go into his Hydreigon here. If he had gone into Ditto, that would have been his chance to get up the webs for himself, but I would have been able to really take advantage of that by going into Lucario, which I would have really loved to do. But he's just going to go ahead and U-turn out, and he scores a crit here, which, because he was no attack investment and a minus attack nature, the crit actually did end up mattering. Let me go over that right now. The crit ended up mattering in the sense that, in order for him to kill that Shuckle, he would have needed an absolute max roll. The roll is 12 HP to 15 HP. But he scored the crit, made sure that Shuckle went down, but that works out more in my favor, because he's not able to go into Ditto, get up his counter webs. He's not able to go into Beedrill in order to get up, excuse me, in order to get up, get off that defog. So that works out more in my favor, because now I can bring in Lucario and pick off whatever he wants to bring in that isn't Steelix or Tapu Koko. But if he brought in either of those, I had other answers on my team for each of those. Either way, like I said, him killing Shuckle works out more in my favor. Shuckle was useless as soon as I got up all of those hazards. So that's going to open up the door for Lucario to come in. And I'm just going to go for E-Speed once again, exactly the same play that I made last time. So this time he does indeed decide to sack it off, and Lucario picks up its first kill of the game. And he's going to go into Hydreigon, and as I said earlier in the game, I decided, you know what, I can live. I didn't decide that I can live, it happened to be that way. I can live Earth Power or Flamethrower, either one, and I can kill with Drain Punch, get a bunch of my health back. But he overpredicts, makes the U-turn play out into Tapu Koko. I get a Drain Punch on this, and I'm going to be able to kill it with E-Speed on the following turn. So that's going to be the end of Tapu Koko, which is very nice. As soon as all this mid-turn effect goes away and the end of the next turn. So, as I said, we are going to be able to kill this Coco with the extreme speed, and he's going to come in. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but he's going to come in with his Hydreigon. Pretty straightforward match so far, especially with this Lucario being in here, because I just click attacks and I kill the things that I need to kill with Lucario, which is very, very nice. So he's going to come in with the Hydreigon, go for the Flamethrower, and as I said, I am going to be able to live it. I do live on 15 HP. That's like the magic number, I guess, is 15. But we are going to get off the Drain Punch. We are going to get our health back. And all he has left at this point is Ditto. Ditto. I know he has the, man, now I can't even remember what he has left. The Steelix is still there. What's the other one that he has? Can't remember. Mega Beedrill, that's right. So he's going to come in with this, the Lucario, and he's going to see that he can't touch Decidueye, and I'm going to make the safe play out into Decidueye. Now, the thing is, I'm going to go out into Decidueye, and if he goes for any attack, then it works out more in his favor, but if he decides to defog, it doesn't really do anything for him at this point, because Beedrill will go down to the Spirit Shackle. I didn't outspeed, but that's completely fine. I expected him to creep the Landorus because I do have a really big speed gap right there, but I am going to be able to kill this Beedrill with the Spirit Shackle, which is completely fine. He's not going to have rocks or webs on his side. And right here, I am at max HP, and the only way he can really get off a lot of damage against me is going into Ditto and going for Spirit Shackle. However, with my HP investment, I have 140 HP, and it is a 25% chance for him to KO me. 75% chance for me to live. Do I? Yes, I live on 3. And we are going to be able to kill him with the Spirit Shackle. All he has left is the Steelix. And in order for me not to completely choke the game away, like in case he happens to be a rock polished Steelix for some reason, not like the worst thing in the world. It definitely sweeps through the rest of my team at this point. But in order to not get completely swept by that, I'm going to go for the low sweep, lower its speed, to the point where if I just go hard into Heatran, I will be able to still outspeed that. Or, doesn't really matter. He goes for the Heavy Slam, he doesn't have Rock Polish, and down goes Decidueye. We are going to bring in the Heatran, which will go for Flamethrower, 100% knock out this max physically defensive Steelix, as we can tell by that low sweep damage. And we are going to win this game 3-0. Lucario putting in work, going 3-0. Decidueye putting in work, going 2-1. And Shuckle getting up the hazards in order to enable Lucario to do a bunch of work. So that's going to be the game. We win 3-0, and we are back in our winning ways after 2 straight losses. Very hacksy losses. It is very nice to have a teensy bit of hacks in my favor in the fact that he got the crit against me, which normally would be hacks in his favor, but it worked out more in my favor. Yeah, that is going to be the match. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like on this video, and I will see you guys next time.